How's it going, everyone? Jacob here. Today, I'm going to give you some quick tips on soloing over Neo-soul chords. If you'd like to know more about the specific harmonies that you'll find in Neo-soul music, you can check out my video I did for it. We'll have links below. For this lesson, I'm going to use the chords from the Daniel Caesar song, Best Part, featuring Her. It's perfect because it's got a little bit that goes outside the key, but most of it is just really right down the middle and pretty simple chords. The color tones that these chords have and also the slight shift out of the key at the end makes it perhaps a little bit challenging to solo over. But first, let's look at the chords. So it's in D major, that's the main key that we're in. We start in D major, but it's a D major 7 chord. So that's D, F sharp, A, and C sharp. When you're starting out, if you want to think about modes, and modes are like scales, and everybody knows scales, really you can think about your D major scale. So when you're starting out to find notes to improvise, you can kind of start around those notes. And if you leave out a couple notes, if you leave out the G and the C sharp, you get a pentatonic scale, D pentatonic. Which sounds very nice over that. If you put the C sharp back in, you get that major 7 color again. But that's just the first chord. So here's the whole progression. D major 7, now to A minor 7, G major 7 with a 9, which is a nice color tone, B flat major. I'll try to keep the chords simple for now and just use chord tones. Let's go through soloing over this. You're starting in that kind of D major range, right? But now when you get to the A minor 7, there's a pretty big modal shift. You can feel that the key shifts, right? We're going somewhere else. And if you listen close, even if you don't know the exact theory, you can hear the resolutions and the voice leading that's happening with certain notes in those chords. So this note is going down to here, which has a real kind of, move to it. It's a shift, right? So obviously, because that mode is changing, we are going to kind of a different key for a second. And what's happening is the A minor is taking us to G. We start out in D, which feels like home to us for a second. But now we're going somewhere else. Now that kind of feels like home for a second. So back to improvising. You're starting with your D kind of sound. And when you go to A minor, a lot of those same notes will still work. Now what won't work is that C sharp. So remember, it's changing. So you're probably going to want to stay off of. Doesn't sound good anymore, and it's because the mode has changed. It's because we're going to a new key for a second. So if you were going to think modally, D major, now we're really more like a D7 scale, which we would call a Mixolydian mode, which is Mixolydian, which is a major scale with a lowered 7. So if you're soloing, you can play the same kind of figures as long as you just change that one note. But you can simplify it even more, like I said before, and really just hang on those kind of D pentatonic common tones that you have. And be sure to mix in a little bit of blues color. And the way you get that is if you take just the first 3 notes of a major scale, and then you lower the third one, to F, now it sounds bluesy, right? It's got that kind of soul feeling in it, that blues feeling. You can keep going further. If you go up to around the 5th note of the scale, and then you drop that down, now you have a blues scale kind of sound. So if you mix those kind of sounds together with the happier kind of major sound, you get this. Now I went ahead to the next chord. But you'll see that this kind of thing works really well over all of the chords. Now when you get to B flat, that's where we have the biggest modal shift, because when we went from D to A minor, we really only had one note change in that mode. But now check out the shift here. That's a different collection of notes. There's 2 more notes that shift in that collection now. What works really well if you're hanging around that kind of pentatonic / blues kind of thing, when you get to the B flat, that's when you can use that more blues scale, that lowered 5th or raised 4, how you want to think about it. And really, once you kind of get there, that kind of blues scale color can really work over almost the whole thing. It's a little much, especially when I'm playing the chord so hard here. I mean, it's kind of, if you just hang on those notes, it's not going to be very pretty. But if you use it in context, now, one thing that I want to point out about the way that I'm improvising, you can see that I like to rest on the root note a lot, D, which is the key we're in. It's kind of our main home key. A lot of my phrases end there. The reason why is because that note is a common tone that sounds good through that whole progression. Knowing where those notes are is really important because they make great notes to end phrases on. So many people that improvise, we want to either play fast, we want to play chromatically, we want to play the coolest licks, we want to play a lot, but we think so much about the start of ideas. We don't think about how we're going to get out of them. In many ways, music is a language. It has phrasing, there are words, sentences. You could think of a song as an entire story. You can make analogies between music and language all day, but when it comes to improvising, you really want to think like you're speaking or like you were singing. I sometimes like to think when I'm playing that I am making up a melody. I'm not just improvising, I'm not just playing random notes. I want what I improvise to sound like a song, to sound like it could be a song. It could have words to it, and it means something. Even just the notes themselves make you feel something. So there was a story. I stuck with my idea. I had an idea. Of course, I used good notes, but it was more than that. You can make a whole study out of analyzing basically what I just did on a really deep level, but what you need to be able to do is feel it. It needs to feel like it could be singable, right? Like it's something that really grabs you. You can, of course, go with this kind of music with neo-soul because of these chords that are very colorful, that are pulling from the jazz idiom and a lot of harmonies you find in jazz. You can do that stuff too. I mean, you can You can play bebop over changes like this, or just more chromatic kind of, jazz-like vocabulary. But the reason why I start with the more simple melodic stuff is because you need to have that. And a lot of times for these kind of slow jam type things that are just the same progression for the whole tune, if you're maybe covering this in a band or you're playing, maybe you want to rip some cool licks sometimes, and obviously that sounds good over a whole kind of length of a long solo, but you want to start somewhere relatable. And this melody for this song is obviously simple and relatable, so you want to improvise like the tune. You want it to sound like you're embellishing the melody, not just doing your own thing. I muffed a few notes in there, but I'm improvising, and so it doesn't always go exactly as planned. But what I'm trying to do is use that internal voice that I have. I did a nice kind of blues scale run, kind of minus the blue note. So another pentatonic, kind of a D minor pentatonic. But it meant more because I was patient in the beginning. Maybe if I just had that length to solo, just like a little quick solo in a song, that would probably be pretty effective, especially if there was going to be singing afterwards, because I let it start somewhere relatable and then kind of flourish in something. So improvising is about context. It's not just knowing the right notes and, the cool chords and all the passing chords and, the runs and all that. That stuff is just kind of icing on the cake. It's more about the integrity of the melodies that you're making in the moment. And that's it. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you've got any questions about this lesson, please put them in the comments below. Remember to like, subscribe, click here for more videos like this one, and go to sweetwater.com for all of your music instrument and pro audio needs.